Hello and welcome. In this episode, let's look at a cool technique to create this colorful abstract effect. Alright, we're going to create this effect in a very procedural way, which means you can change the animation in one place and the whole effect will update. Same thing goes with the logo. You can change the logo in one place and it will reveal with all the effects and it will update procedurally. So it's a cool way of working. So let's dive in. Alright, let's start by creating the composition. Go to composition, new composition. I want you to choose this HDTV 1080p 30 fps composition. Let's call it abstract logo. Let's make it like 7 seconds long. Alright, this is going to be the main composition, but we're going to leave it blank for a while. Yeah, let's make another composition. Go to composition, new composition. Let's call it the primary unit. This is going to be the basis of our animation. Let's make it 800 pixels wide and 100 pixel high. You can leave it as 7, but let's make it 4 seconds. It's okay. Yeah, this is something that you don't expect, I know, but this is going to be the basis of animation. We are going to duplicate this, whatever the animation that we're doing here, and make a complex animation out of it. Let's go to layer, solid, make a solid, and while this layer is selected, let's click on this rectangle tool, and it will create a mask. You can change the color by clicking on this little color label here, so I can see it better. And this arrow would reveal the properties for it. Let's make a keyframe here for mask path by clicking on this little stopwatch. Let's drag that keyframe to the 7th frame, actually let's zoom into the place. You can do it by with this slider here or this slider here. Let's zoom in. You can either drag the time slider forward, or page down key would advance the time slider in time, or page up will do the reverse. In any way, let's go to the 7th frame, drag the time slider there, and let's go back to the beginning of the timeline. Select this mask and press Ctrl T to reveal this transformation controls, or you can just select this mask and just double click on one of these vertices to bring that transformation controls. And while holding down Shift key, you can drag this the whole mask up to here, just here, not here, just enough to move the mask away from the viewport. And let's go to this keyframe at the end and bring the transformation controls again, and while holding down Shift key, let's do that. What it does is, this is the animation it's going to do. Alright, now this animation is actually, let's drag the time slider somewhere here and press N on your keyboard to set the range, the preview range. Alright, if you go to composition, preview, play current preview, and this is what it does. Okay, this is too smooth, by the way. What I can do is, let's press page down twice to advance the time slider to the 2nd frame and set a keyframe there by clicking on this little icon here. Let's advance the time slider to 4 and set another keyframe there, and maybe another keyframe here. Nothing has been changed. but let's select all of the keyframes and right click and go to toggle hold keyframe. And what it does is this. Yeah, it gave it a stop motion look. That's what I'm after. Let's select this layer, right click, go to effects, generate, and fill. We're going to apply color to it. And let's duplicate it. Go to composition, edit, duplicate, or you can just press Ctrl D. And let's change the colors. Gonna change it to blue, maybe green, so you can see it clear. Select all of them and press U on your keyboard. Go to the ending keyframe and press Alt, opening curly brace to trim the layers like so. Now let's offset the frames. Offset the frames by 3 frames each. Maybe let's do it in the reverse way, reverse order. Okay. Now something I don't like about this animation is that it disappears too early. So this is the red layer. So let's select that one only and press U on the keyboard. Let's select this mask and press Ctrl T again. And let's actually do this. Now it doesn't go off, only for this layer, right? Let's lock these 2 layers so we don't touch them. Only for this layer. It doesn't completely go away. And let's not trim the layer here. Let's drag it all the way to maybe 20th frame. Yeah, let's change the range as well. What I'm going to do after this is that press T on the keyboard to reveal the opacity attributes. Maybe from the 9th frame. Let's animate. Page down once to advance the time slider in 1 frame. And let's do a little blinking animation like so. That's what it does. Alright, it doesn't disappear too early now. Now, by the way, this is going to be our base. Let's make some controls here. Let's go to the abstract logo composition, which is going to be our main, the final composition. Go to layer, null object. Yeah, let's call it controls. These are some custom controls I'm going to build. Let's right click, effects, expression controls, color controls, and color 1. Why I'm doing this will not make much of a sense at the moment, but at the end of the animation you'll be amazed to see what I can do with this. All right, let's make it blue. Let's make this one yeah, something like that. All right, what I'm going to do here is, now this is the effects controls panel right now. If you can't find the effects controls panel, it's right here in the Windows menu. It should come up once the moment you apply any effect. This effects control panel should come up. If it doesn't, it should. It's right here. Yeah, here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lock the layer. I'm going to lock the panel. I'm sorry. This by clicking on this little padlock icon here. Now it's open. Once you click on it, and now it's locked. What it does is that it won't change when you select these layers. Because this panel is locked, we can still see those custom controls we created here. Let's select these 3 layers. Press E on the keyboard, so it will reveal the fill effects that we made. What I'm going to do is we're going to link them to these controls. While holding down Alt key, let's click on this little stopwatch here for the color property. That's what it does. It has created an expression, something called an expression. If you don't know about expressions, don't worry about it, just follow this step. Click on this icon. It's called the pick whip. You can choose this color right here, the color 1 controls, color property, pick that. And it's gonna create some expression here. If you don't understand this, don't worry about it. What it does is it has linked to this color property. Now this color is driven by this color. Whatever you choose here, it'll be changed, because now these two properties are linked. Let's do the same for the second color. While holding down Alt key, click on this color property. It will create the expression, and let's pick whip. All right, let's do the same for the third. While holding down Alt key, do that. Choose this color. That's it. Now these colors are driven by the main controls that is available in the main composition. This is very, very important. You'll see why at the end of the tutorial. Now our primary animation is done. Now the second step. Let's go to the projects panel. It's right here in the Windows menu, project. Now this is the primary unit we made. Let's drag it and drop onto this little icon here. What it does, it creates a pre-composition. It creates another composition with the same dimensions as the primary unit, with the primary unit composition as its first layer. We are going to call this the secondary unit, and we're going to do the same again. Let's select the secondary unit and do that same thing again. Let's drag it and drop onto this little icon here. It'll create another composition. Now we are creating several compositions here. Now don't get confused. We're going to call this 3D unit. Why I'm doing this? Because the secondary unit, I'm going to change this later. In the 3D unit, now it's called 3D. So what I'm going to do, there's a switch here to make the layer 3D. Let's make the layer a 3D layer, and let's duplicate it. Control D, and let's press R on the keyboard and rotate in 90 degrees. Why I did that? Let's go to the custom view and press C on your keyboard to get the orbit tool. Now here, what you can see is something like this, the same composition with 90 degrees to each other. Why this is like this? It's because, let's hide it by clicking on this. If I'm animating, if I'm doing a 3D animation here, now this is a 3D layer. If the camera is orbiting around this 3D layer, this is fine, but when the camera reaches to somewhere here, you can't see anything. It's infinitely thin. If you have something like this, another layer crossed in 90 degrees, wherever the camera is, you can see volume in this way. What's next is to create another composition called, I want to choose the HDTV 1080p composition preset again, and let's make it another 7-second long animation. This is called the abstract animation. Okay, here we're going to do something tedious. Let's drag the 3D unit composition here, and let's make it 3D. To see the volume, you have to turn on this switch, which is called collapse transformations. Now you can see the two layers, but you can still treat it as one layer. That's the advantage. So what I can do here, now when you select it, the anchor point is here, which is bad in our case. Let's select A to reveal the anchor point and type 0. So the anchor point has been moved to the corner. Let's actually, all right, I'm going to create some, I'm going to duplicate it, Control D. I'm going to move it here, like so. Yeah, Control D again. And I'm going to rotate. I'm going to rotate in Z maybe. maybe minus 60. Let's duplicate that again. Let's press R on your keyboard and make it minus 90. Alright, this is the 3D shape that I've created, but still everything is being animated at the same time because the layer starts at the same time. So let's sequence them in a way that the animation would happen from one end to the other, like that. Now actually this is not enough. Let's add some detail. Yeah, let's duplicate this, rotate, let's make it 0, and let's rotate it around y-axis, maybe 90. Let's duplicate it again, rotate in minus 90. Okay, and let's move it to what is the center of this unit. You can just eyeball it, no problem. Alright, that's that. And let's create a couple of more of these horizontal elements by duplicating this element here. The idea here is to create some volume to the existing 3D frame, and they're animating at the same time. So let's offset the frames a little bit. Now what I have created here is a 3D shape out of the primary unit I have. But still, this is not enough. So what I'm going to do, let's select all of them, click on this color label, and make the layers blue. Let's select all of them and duplicate them. Let's drag it to the bottom and change their labels again, maybe to red. And what I'm going to do, if you hear any noises, that's my dog. I can't leave her out, she's making noises. Anyways, so let's move this red colored set of layers to a side a little bit like so, and duplicate them and move that set to the other side. But still, the animation looks the same because it's the same clone. We just duplicated them. Let's actually make this set green and offset these sets a little bit, like 5 frames apart, yeah, to give it a little bit of variation. All right, now we have offset the layers, but still the variation is not that good because they're in the same scale, sort of the same timing as well. Now we have 3 teams of layers: blue, red, and green. Let's select these layers, the blue labeled ones, blue label, oh yeah, except the last one. Actually, let's reveal, right click here, reveal the parent column. Let's parent all of them to this unit right here. And also repeat the process for the other 2 sets, the red colored and green colored set of layers as well. Let's parent this set of layers to the bottommost layer. Yeah, now these 3 layers acts as the parent for each set of layers. So you can scale them differently to give it a little bit of variation. So let's 120 there and 80 here. That would give more variation. Anyways, with that variation of scaling, now we have something somewhat of a complex animation here. All right, it's time to make the final animation in our main composition. Let's go to the main composition. Actually, let's close all this down. Now, still, our main composition is blank. It only has this null layer of the controls. Let's make a new composition here. Make sure that you have choose the HDTV 1080p version. Yeah, let's call it the logo, because that's what we're going to reveal. I'm going to import, go to file, import my logo here, but you can choose your own. You can type anything you want here as well if you don't have a logo. I'm going to scale it down like so. That's it. I'm going to drag that logo here. Yeah, let's make it 3D. Let's create a simple camera system. Go to layer, new, camera. Go to layer, new, null object. Let's call it camera transform 01, and let's duplicate it to make it 02. Let's make both of them 3D, and let's unhide the parent and link column once again, and parent the camera to the camera transform 1 and camera transform 2 layer to the camera transform 1 layer to the camera transform 2. So we are making a hierarchy here. Let's select this camera transform 1 layer and press R on the keyboard, and let's make an animation. Let's drag this keyframe to the 3rd second maybe, and rotate it like yeah, 170 to, no problem, 210 maybe. All right. What I want the camera to be done is let's press P for the position property. Let's drag this. Let's set a keyframe and drag it to the 4th second. And while holding down Shift key, drag the camera backwards, like so. Yeah, camera should come from the distance to the place. All right. Here's the thing. From here, it's static, which is bad. So what I'm going to do, select this layer called camera transform 2. That's why we make this made this hierarchy. Press P. I'm going to change the positioning, keyframe to positioning of that layer. Set a keyframe here. Let's go to the end of the animation. Move it forward, like maybe 500. Now the logo is too big. What I can do is just select it, press S, and scale it down. Maybe to 40. Okay, that's the size of the logo that you would see at the end of the animation. Okay, let's make it. But now our animation is not smooth. That's because of this. Easy ease. That's an animation principle. You will always have to go with that. Now, still, it's not enough. Let's go to the graph editor. While these two keyframes are being selected, let's go to the graph editor by clicking on this icon here. I'm working with the speed graph. You can work with this, work with the value graph as well, but in this case, speed graph is enough. It is easier. While holding down Shift key, let's drag this right here, like so. All right. Now it's smooth. Now look at that. Still, the logo is being animated, and yeah, still it's moving until the end of the animation. All right, that's great. What's next? Let's drag the abstract animation into this composition. You know, that's how you would see it. Let's make it 3D. Let's drag it. Actually, let's label it as orange. Let's label the logo as maybe blue. All right, now it's 3D, but still, it's you can't see anything because you have to collapse the transformations here. With that, what you would see is the 3D animation that you've done, but still, it's so big. Let's scale it down to like 25 and drag it down. Maybe let's say this is the flow level. When our animation starts, it seems like the camera is too far away. Let's make it minus maybe 4,000 or so. so we can see the animation a little bit better. Now what we got here is a complex piece of animation, and it's 3D. You can move it around. So let's actually duplicate them and rotate them like 90, 80, and 270. Now there are 4 layers here, and they're animating at the same time. So let's sequence them in time, and also give them a little bit of scaling variation as well. Yeah, let's go to a custom view. Here you can see it better. So what I can do is that move them around the logo to find some better positioning for each of these layers, so you don't see them as duplicated clones. Then this is the animation we have now. We can very easily add details to this. What I can do, let's go to the secondary unit, this animation right here. Let's go to the composition and composition settings. Let's change its size to 1200 by maybe 400. Okay. Well, now it's just a matter of duplicating these layers and place them all over the composition. Yeah, let's make some more duplicates. Make this one bigger, maybe another smaller one too, and offset them in time. Yeah, maybe this third one should come like that, and then transition to the bigger one. Maybe let's finish with the smaller one. Now with this change, the whole animation will update like so. Look at that. That's how easy it is to update the animation or change the whole animation, if you will. But still, our logo is not revealing right. It's just popping into the place. See that? It's coming out like that. That's bad. It has to reveal in the same way of that effect. What we're going to do is that we're going to create a matte for it. What is a matte? I'll show you. Go to composition, new composition. Let's once again choose this preset right here. 1080, 30 FPS. Let's make it 7 seconds long. All right, here we're going to create a matte. All right, let's Control K and change this to logo matte. Let's call it logo matte. We're gonna use the primary unit. This one. Now the reveal happens from bottom to top. That's what we're gonna do here. Let's rotate it this way, -90, and it's revealing from bottom to top like that. So next, I'm going to speed up the recording a little bit, because what I'm going to do is very simple, and duplicate them, move them horizontally, and give them a little bit of scaling variation, and duplicate the whole set, and basically covering. What I'm going to do is covering the whole composition with this one element. Let's delete these excess layers, but still, yeah, let's delete this one as well. Yeah, what we got here is the same layer animating at the same time, so that's bad. So let's arbitrarily offset the layers in time, so you have some variation there, but still the top part is blank. Look at that, it's blank. So let's scale them up, move them up a little bit. Now it covers the whole space like so, and it has some variation, but still I think I should have some more detail. So let's duplicate all of them and offset them in time a little bit like so. Now we have a lot of detail, a lot of stuff animating there. Now what we have done here is that this composition starts as a transparent composition, some effect happens, and then ends up as completely transparent composition, which is going to be very important for what we're going to do next. So let's change the name of the composition by pressing Control K once again. Matte, let's call it effects. Matte effect. So this is only the effect. Let's duplicate. So let's select this layer, select this composition on the projects panel, and Control D to duplicate. Alpha matte. Yeah. For this, what I have to do is that this primary unit, we are going to right click on it, reveal source in project. This is a primary unit. Let's duplicate it too. Duplicate it, and let's call it alpha matte. Primary unit alpha matte. And we're going to change this one, not the primary unit. Don't change this one. Never change this one now. Primary unit alpha matte. What I'm going to do is actually when you see, yeah, here. Now let's toggle the transparency grid once again. Now it's transparent. Now this solid animates in. Now everything is covered at this point or any other point. Let's create a new solid layer, new solid. Drag it down to the bottom of the layer stack and drag it in time, and make sure that its in point is at this point, because now if you leave it here, it's no longer transparent, which is bad. It has to start as a transparent matte. Now everything's being animated here, and there you have to fill the background. Now what happens here is that it started as a transparent composition but ended as an opaque composition. That's what happened. That's what has to happen. Let's now this is the logo matte alpha. Logo matte alpha. This is logo matte effect. Now it's done. Let's close it. Logo matte alpha. I want you to select all of them. Control A to select everything, and while holding down Alt key, drag this primary unit alpha matte here. It will replace every layer with that alpha matte. Now what happens here? Logo matte effects, logo matte alpha. There are two compositions we made. Logo matte effect is that it started as a transparent composition. Some effect happened and ended as a transparent composition. That's what the logo matte effect. Let's call it once again. Let's call it effect. Logo matte effect. But logo matte alpha started as a transparent composition, and some effect happened, and it's not ended not as a transparent composition. It's opaque now. That's the difference between those two compositions. How do we use it? Very interesting. So let's isolate this layer, logo. Yeah. Now this logo composition is 1080p, and this logo alpha matte is also 1080. This is also 1080p. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to duplicate this layer, logo layer, 3 times. Control D, Control D, Control D. All right. Let's isolate this bottommost logo. Now this logo has to reveal with our matte. Let's isolate this one as well. Alpha matte, select this logo alpha matte while holding down Alt key, drag the alpha matte to this layer, to this right, this layer right on the top of the bottommost layer. Right now, what you see is an alpha channel. Some effect happened, and it stays opaque. What you can do, let's hide this column, toggle to the modes, and from this drop down you can select alpha matte, logo matte alpha. Now here's what happens. With that effect, the logo reveals with that effect. But this is still not that interesting. Why the effect is not there? It has to have this effect, this effect right here, the abstract effect that we're going after. It should have that. How to do that is unhide this, isolate this this layer as well, and isolate this layer too. Select this layer. Right now it's this bottom layer. While holding down Alt key, drag the logo matte effect to this layer right here, and make that layer alpha matte logo. Now here what happens. Now I can see that effect, and with that effect the logo reveals. If I unhide this layer, if I hide this layer, here's the effect that you see. Started as transparent, some effect happens and goes back to transparent, but no problem because we have already revealed the logo. Both of them together, the effect happens and the logo reveals. Right. If you're confused about what I did, I know it's hard to grasp. If you're a complete beginner, it's hard to grasp. So rewind the video and watch it several times. It's a very important concept. This creating mattes and using it in the right way is, it takes time, and it's very important. You have to learn that. Rewind the video and watch it over and over again until the concept sinks into you. So that's the idea of doing a tutorial. Now the logo doesn't pop into the place anymore. It reveals with the same effect as the main effect. It blends in really well. Let's simplify the composition a little bit. Let's go to layer pre-compose and pre-compose these 4 effect layers and call it abstract effect. And yeah, let's make it 3D and collapse transformations, and let's pre-compose these 2 layers as well. It's the logo effect. It's the effect only, and these 2 layers are going to be the clean logo, because that's a logo without any effect, just a reveal. So these 3 layers are going to be the main reveal. Let's actually change the colors of these 3 layers a little bit. So make it blue and duplicate them, and yeah, make it orange, and scale them in Y axis, because these 3 layers are going to act as the reflection. So let's move them into place in Y axis. All right, that seems fine. Let's go to File, Import, and import this grayscale image right here. I provided the link in the description. You can download it there, or you can use your own image as well. So let's drag and drop the image into the composition like so, and make it 3D and move it just above the reflection, these 3 reflection layers, and also rotate it in Y axis, because this is going to be our floor. Yeah, let's move it into the place. It's difficult to do it here. Let's go to the front view so I can do it correctly. I'm actually looking at this area right here, so I can move it into place correctly. So yeah, it seems fine. The next thing I'm going to do is, yeah, I'm going to drag the time slider to the beginning of the timeline, and now I see there are a lot of blank areas there. So let's duplicate the layer and move it in an x-axis to fill in those blank areas. Let's duplicate both of them and move it in a y-axis to fill in this little really big blank area in the front near the camera. So let's advance keyframes. Let's advance in the timeline. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's another blank area here. Let's duplicate the layers, drag them and fill those areas. And there's another area here. Let's again duplicate these layers, drag them, so that blank area is also taken care of. Now it seems fine. Now I can pre-compose all these layers and call it a flow blur or flow reflection, because it's going to be our reflection map, and actually make it not 3D, just collapse transformations, and move it to the bottom of the layer stack and hide it. I want to make a layer, new adjustment layer, and place it here. Yeah, these are the main animations, and these are the reflections. And above the reflections, I'm going to place it and floor, make it blur, flow blur. Let's right click on it. Actually, go to effects, blur sharpen, compound blur, and from there, let's choose flow texture. All right, that's what it does. Those reflections look pretty darn good there. But I have a confession to make. This a technique. I didn't invent this technique. I learned it from Andrew Kramer on Video Copilot. You know, he's like the godfather. Yeah, check out his stuff. Anyways, let's beautify the composition even more. Let's click on this little icon here, which says 8BPC, stands for bits per channel. Let's make it 32. Let's right click on this layer and go to effects, stylize, and glue. Let's actually make it like 0.2, because we are at 32 BPC, bits per channel. Glow radius, let's make it like 35. So ratio like maybe 40. Let's duplicate the glow. Let's make the radius high, like 120. Let's reduce it down to like 0.1, 0.2. Okay, that's good. And select this to effects, copy, Control C, paste it onto logo effect, and in the reflection too, logo effect and abstract effect. Let's paste it there. Now that should update the effects on the reflections as well. But still, our composition has an alpha channel, which is bad. Let's create a solid, a colored solid, and yeah, let's move that layer to the bottom of the layer stack, and that fixes that problem. But I think you can remember that we created some custom controls in the very beginning of this project. Now here's the power of it. You can change these color slots, pick any color you want, and change the whole color scheme to match your brand or your preference. See how easy it is? Yeah, that's it. Let's switch back to the original colors anyway. All right, I'm going to select all the layers except the controls. Go to layer pre-compose. You don't have to make it 3D anymore because all the animations are happening inside there. Let's actually duplicate 2 times. And let's right click on the layer, go to Effect, Channels, Set Channels. Now let's turn off the green channel and the blue channel, which leaves you with just the red channel. And for the next layer, let's apply the Set Channels effect. And this time, turn off the red channel and green channel, which leaves you with only the blue channel. And for this one, let's only leave the green channel turned on. And let's unhide these 2 layers and switch them to the add mode. And we are back to where we begin. But now the RGB channels are separated, so we can offset the green and blue channel just one frame, and that gives you an animation with just a red channel offset, just one frame offset of the red channel, and which gives you a different feeling of, you know, a glitchy stereoscopic look. Now that's how it looks like. Now this animation is super easy to change. You can go to the secondary unit composition and change anything here. For now, let's do something very simple, like let's scale down these elements, scale them down substantially, so you can see everything's being updated here. So you can go even further. There's a way to go even further, because now our primary unit drives the whole animation. Let's go to the primary unit composition, this one right here. Now here I've added some more some animation here, which I'm not going to explain. You can experiment with yourself. The point is that if you update anything there, it will update the whole animation right away, like so. Let's try something else. Here I have added another text animation. I'm not going to explain how I did this, because this tutorial is already too long. So if you do that, the whole animation will be updated like so. Now you should experiment even further and come up with your own ideas. So that's how you have to work with After Effects. You know, it's super modular and procedural. And for example, now here the logo is super easy to change. You just have to change the logo in the logo composition, and it will update with all the effects applied. That's how you have to work with After Effects. So yeah, good luck with your version, and make sure that you come up with something new. So I'll see you in another tutorial really soon. Until then, bye-bye.